Good afternoon. This is Oxinity Channel on Education. Today we're going to be looking at our syllabus for the next year. We're at the point in our academic year when we start to look at planning what we're going to put together for the product. And we'd like to know from all our teachers what improvements they'd like to see in the material, in terms of content, format, design, functionality, and I guess the user experience. So I'm joined today by Carlos, Anna. We've got Radmila online in Madrid.
Hello.
Hiya. My name's Graeme. Let's get started. Okay. So we asked our teachers the following questions, and we've got some feedback on what they have to say. So I'll go with question number one. So what content did they think our material is missing? Yeah. What would you think, Carlos? What's your thought?
Well, as far as content is concerned, I think I like to see more videos, more short videos, maybe 3 to 5 minute videos. A lot of we talked about this in the past, maybe some TED Talks. Just to give the student, in addition to reading, also listening. Not listening just to us speak all the time, so they can listen to other voices and other material as well. So I like to see more access to videos.
Brilliant. Anna.
And I would really vote for listenings, again, because of the same reason. This is the comment I actually put on questionnaire, because sometimes people, they need to listen to something different that not we are, right? And not only videos, because probably it's very difficult sometimes to understand when people are talking on the phone or something. So I think short audios or listening activities, it would be really great to have, I think. But I think that their content, we are not missing maybe the content, but we are probably missing tools to manage the content. I think that is the issue to improve for the next year.
Brilliant. Radmila, from the questionnaire, what kind of answers did we get back from some of the teachers?
Yeah, I mean, it was the people have strong opinions about it. So I'm going to read just some of them, content-wise, because the questions were targeted at revising the content, also the platforms, the layout, how user-friendly it is. So regarding the content, mainly they want, surprisingly to me, more grammar content. I don't know whether you agree with it or not, but according to Carl, for instance, too much emphasis is put on vocabulary, and he thinks that students would benefit from more grammar. It's debatable. Again, it's a question of proportions. So I know that for low levels we give a lot of emphasis on grammar, and it's still present until P5. But maybe not so obvious, which is, on the other hand, something good, because grammar shouldn't be so explicit so that it's a hinder for the students. Actually, Coral says that in many cases we're actually missing the vocabulary for the picture. So she says that maybe the target language can be revised. As Anna Elena said, pronunciation for beginners levels, she misses. Yep, we can put that on debate. And Anna Vrane says that we have to take care of more content for young learners, like drawing, coloring, games. Yeah. Autumn, she says that we can add content for test preparation, opposition, civil service exams, technology, physics, mathematics, programming, coding, logistics, engineering, etc. So this is very good feedback, because the upcoming course, I'm going to pay special attention to these notes, as that, when we have to prepare the new courses, we're going to definitely include that. And according to, or what Paul says, is a place to add things from other sources, like articles, videos, again, and what I think the student would be interested in. Let me remind you here that option exists, and it's called the Plus tab. So in the Plus tab, you do have the option to put anything you want. And the platform as is, maybe we have to make it more obvious, allows you the opportunity to put hyperlinks or to incorporate other external sources to it. I mean, we have to be careful with royalties and copywriting, but it is possible to do that. And I wanted to ask Carlos actually, why do we need more videos, Carlos? What do we need more videos for?
Well, if for content ideas, for example, we were talking about a subject in a general topic. For example, something with feelings, emotions, and things like that. Sometimes it's good to have a
Okay.
video to describe, or perhaps a story to describe, and then the student can actually listen instead of sometimes reading, because it's listening to me. I find it that two things happen. One is more interactive for the student
Mm-hmm.
because it's listening, paying attention, and then also it's time. We can
Yeah.
do the activity, and it's more, to me, it's more entertaining as well.
Okay.
I like
Okay.
that. One of the things that I brought up with Radmila the other day was to have the control both sides for the platform and the usability of it. Because when you're watching, when you're doing a video with a student, it can be, if it's online, it can be dead time. And when
Yeah.
you're online, it'd be nice to have the control of being able to stop and start the video, because you want the different accents,
Yeah.
you want the
Yeah.
things.
Right,
But
right.
when it's online, you're literally, I don't know what they're doing. I can't.
Yeah.
Right, when you're online, you lose that control. When you are in the classroom or in the office or in the home, you have control
The
of
ability,
of stopping, which is what I do a lot. If you do a short video, I would stop the video, make sure they understand the content, perhaps the phrase that is being said, and the context of what's being said. And then we can move on to the next part. And that is, to me, I find it to be more entertaining for me as well as for the student.
I agree.
Guys, by the way, we have a comment from Maria,
Mm-hmm.
and she says regarding the plus tab, she says it only allows us to add activities that we have made. Maybe we could search for all activities available and choose from different categories.
Yeah, that was the issue that I discussed with the teachers today in a meeting, and I think that it was my issue too. I think it would be a great idea if we want to adapt to students' needs, as we say, right? So I think we should be able to choose activities by hashtag or by topic. If we are looking at activity on one specific topic or one specific grammar, so we should have at least 3-4 different options to add right there. And I would like it to be manually used too, because I think that the way that also the teachers claim that it would be a better way to search for the things that the students are looking for and to improve our classes and improve the quality of the class at the end.
It's so you can challenge the student. When no matter what you do with a level, there's always going to be someone at the beginning and someone at the end. And sometimes you get a student who you're rating and you're thinking you're P4, but you're a bit rusty. So really you need a bit of P3 to get you ready to it.
Yeah.
But you'd like to be the higher end of P3, because it covers a lot. I think it'd be nice to be able to, when you go into your class, go, okay, they're P3, but I can see the whole syllabus and perhaps select something and link them. Because one of the things that you mentioned today that I liked is vocabulary and grammar. Sometimes you want to pair them.
Yeah.
If you've got one on parts of the day, you want the prepositions in, on, and at to go with it so you can teach it together. And that was something that we talked about today that would be awesome. Being able to control a little more.
Yeah, and the topic on routines, right?
Yeah.
What I was also discussing and suggesting the teachers that if we could, we are supposed to link activities smoothly, right? But sometimes it's really difficult, What I really love doing when I have the topic on specific issue, I have grammar related to this topic and vocabulary related to this topic. So at the end of the day, we do a class on, times of the day, right? But it's really engaged and everything has to do with everything, right? So that is the way that it makes our life easier, and I think that the students are more engaged at the end. That is the thing but I think this is a question of tools, right? We should be able to control and to choose activities and topics depending on our...
Right, and the one thing we cannot forget is that we have a lot of control. If you do this long enough with experience, you realize that we have access to the internet and we have a lot of control, and you have your toolbox of things that you know what to do. So you can, yes, the system, it's the way it is, can be somewhat limited, but your imagination is not.
Well, of course.
No, you can definitely structure a class around the activities we have, but do something completely different. And this is what I usually do a lot. Is perhaps I see an activity, but I know of something else that complements it, and I just go there.
Yeah.
So I think it's having the accessibility to it. I think it's one of the things that we discovered from our meeting here today was we're not shy of talent and ability and information within the system. It's just being able to access it that little bit more adaptable, so when you need it. We have guys with expertise in finance and marketing, and they make amazing activities, and sometimes you want to be able to specifically pull that out. I think one of the things that came, from Mark Bransby today, which was great, was about the currency of how recent an activity is, and perhaps having a topic which is dated. Ones that are general that can go around, but one of his ideas was to have a dated topic. Yeah. What do you think about that, Carlos?
I think hey. As far as I'm concerned, dated topics can be challenging because you have to read a news event that happened a year ago, and now you have to be like, how do I make this new? And that's why Google is your friend. Go, what is the latest on this?
But Mark was saying, I think it was Mark who was coming, was saying it'd be great to have an activity that's made Thursday, Friday of last week, and you're teaching it now.
Yeah, on Monday.
And then it dies. And we've got some material which is super fresh, and having a specific channel within the system that does that.
Yes, but don't forget, you can always challenge the student. If you have a story that is 6 months old, or maybe a story that's 2 years old, like the manada. Now here, everybody's talking about the manada, and the activity we have was a news event about 3 years ago, but it's still relevant because things are happening. So even though the story that you're reading is very old, there are many things that are happening that you can refresh.
Yeah.
Well, definitely. I mean, that is what I'm doing with a lot of news. For example, I have that are a little bit old, so I ask, what is the situation today?
Right,
Those
exactly.
kind of things.
Right. What are your thoughts? Yeah. What is happening today? Do you agree? Don't agree? You can challenge your student to do that.
But I mean, this is your work as a teacher, right? You should be creative.
this is what it comes down to. You're delivering
the content to students. But if we had newer content, updated all the time, so our life as a teacher would be much easier, I guess. But it's still it wouldn't say that we will stop being creative after that. So we can adapt the activities in a way we want.
Right. I mean, you need to be adaptable and be able to adapt yourself. Every 24 hours is something new. Every class is different.
I always think when you're trying to challenge people and engage with them, you need to be able to have a variety. And I go to a pub quiz, and you always have your specialist in your team. It's like Trivial Pursuits. You have sports questions, music questions, pop culture. I'd like topics to be like this too. In an ideal world for me, to be able to have a topic which is all about music and have them. So when you look at it every day, because you have people who are specifically want that thing. When we have the ESP, we have it for business, finance, marketing, but also topics of interest. So more focusing those. Those are things that I would like to see. That things, because I think that we've got people with great knowledge in that, environmental stuff, and instead of it just being a general brush, specific,
I think that was another issue of teachers today in a meeting. So the topics should be created by somebody who's expertise in that, right? So if it's a topic on music, so it should be done by somebody who knows what the music is about, not by somebody who has no idea, right? So
it's
not
just copying and pasting something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's something live, not just copying and pasting from Wikipedia. And grammar activities instead, or vocabulary activities, should be done by specific people who only know how to do that. So not done by any teacher. So basically, grammar activities and vocabulary activities, they should be assigned to those who know how to do it.
But we have to be careful. We have to be careful because every activity is a vocabulary activity.
I agree.
Every activity, you have a new vocabulary, so this doesn't, we have to be careful as to, only these people can create vocabulary content because every activity is a vocabulary content.
Yeah, but I think the specific vocabulary ones are looking normally at phonetics or or contractions or something. And there are grammar activities which are.
But those are different.
Yeah.
Those are different because. But now we be careful because we run the risk of becoming a book, and we're not providing a book, right?
Yep.
We are on the risk of that, so we need to be careful when we talk about grammar. How do we present grammar in a way that is engaging and we're not dictating rules, because that's too easy. I can just copy and paste from my website.
But I think that's what the issue is being, is if someone doesn't have a comfort and a strength in creating grammar in a fun and engaging way, then their backup is to copy and paste.
Yeah.
And I agree that we don't want to become a book, you don't want to be having it modernized, but we have, probably a large percentage of teachers who are really into doing grammar. Let them do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's that rather than everyone having a go. That would just be more focused on, as I said, we have a plethora of skills within the company. Let's allocate them, and I think that was something that came from our meeting today.
Yeah, I think so. And the grammar, again, we were talking about grammar a long time ago. So the grammar is the same. It stays the same during years, right? So it's not about creating current grammar, right? So it's grammar.
We're not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. So just copy and paste the rules. Yeah, it's not an issue, but it's been an issue for a lot of us because sometimes we receive activities with just copy and paste, pasting of grammar rules, and I don't want to do that. So I want to do it something different way, right? So
well, see, but that's up to you because okay, let's see. I see many activities where yes, I look at it. It literally is a copy and paste of a grammar page.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
It is what it is. It's there.
Yeah.
Now, I give it a quick look. I give it maybe a minute or two of emphasis and quickly go into examples. Because that's the best way to.
Definitely.
But I agree with
That's
you.
the best way to approach the activity, the grammar.
See, I agree with you. In the teaching of it, we have phenomenal teachers and they take over. But the real benefit of the Oxinity system is that the student has this to look at before.
Yeah.
And it needs to have, in order for us teachers to be able to honour all the methodologies that we want to use, those grammar activities need to have examples in context, non-gap fillers, really natural production and real good guidance as to where you can apply that to their lives. And I'm not saying that, and that doesn't exist in books. That's what the real quality grammar teachers that we have write like that. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to say is we'd like to see more of that rather than, I get what you're saying. If I get a bunch of rules, I look at it and go, yeah, I can teach this. But has my student had the time to look at that beforehand and really see it in context? Because I've got many of my students who don't like the process of practicing grammar with me and then producing it. They like to study before they train with me.
Yeah,
well, you're very lucky. You're very lucky, because my students don't even look at
that. Mine are looking afterwards, but still.
I had my lesson. He promised me this whole summer he will study. Come September, we'll see what he's actually done. And I told him, I said, listen, this is not homework. You don't have to do anything you don't want.
Yeah, exactly.
But he promised
Guys,
me.
we have a live comment from Maria.
Sorry. Radmila.
Yeah, I think I hear you with a little bit of a delay. Sorry if I've interrupted
No,
something.
go on.
No.
It's just that Maria says the role of the grammar activities is to remind or teach the student about a bit of grammar and to encourage them to use it while they talk. That's regarding what you were discussing. But I was thinking your discussion made me think about something actually. So yeah, we would like to have the perfect activities written by exactly the right person that knows a lot about it. But I was wondering about something else. If I'm teaching an architecture activity beautifully written by Luis, who's an architect, for instance, will I be able to understand it fully and teach it? So maybe yes, maybe no. So it's not only on the author, it's also on the teacher on how they make it, how they perform it. And also, maybe we want to think of how do I tell the author that there is something wrong about this activity? Because will I just rely on my skills as a teacher to improve it on the go? Or I may want to have a channel and tell them, hey, if you include more examples, or if you do this, or if you do that, the activity will be clearer. Or even better, I use the editing tool and I do it myself. We have all these options. So selecting the teachers and more than selecting the right person, I believe in making it so easy for everyone so that everyone can use it and everyone can contribute. I think that that's the real power of our system.
I agree. I agree, but I think it's the having. Yeah, I get what you say. You want. You know, I'm not an architect, but I'd like to be able to work with Luis's material and go and teach an architect firm. But it's you know, Luis's teacher notes that are going to make it accessible for me. You know, and if it's well written out and stuff like that, you know. One of the things, like with activities that we came across, is you said every activity is a vocabulary activity, and for me it's the topic activities where the real vocabulary lies, especially at the higher levels. You know, and it's when I get I think Stefan mentioned this before, because we have the American, we have Australian, we have South African, we have all these different versions of English, that sometimes in these articles I come across words that I don't know. And I'm completely stumped. I've written activities and been like, oh, what does that word mean?
I usually say, listen, British people talk like this. Don't pay attention. I talk like this. I'll teach you the correct way. Ignore that.
But I think it shouldn't be this way. We should be able to receive instructions, you know, on the words that, this is a specific Australian word. It means this, and that. So instead of saying, I don't know what does it mean. Yeah.
No, usually you know what it means.
Well, but
you just say
I don't use it.
We don't speak like this.
What is the purpose then of showing that word? You know, to the wall.
Just ignore that people from Liverpool. They don't know how to talk anyway.
No, I think some more instructions on grammar and vocabulary would be really good.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
For me, it's the topic activities that the students seem to like the most, because they get that because they're written normally personally by a teacher with a certain kind of strength in there, or a desire or a passion for it, and it really is reflective when you do the activity, you know. I did an activity recently, or saw an activity from one of our New York City inductees, and it was all about live music in Madrid. And you could tell from the article he really cared. And it was really engaging and really great. And I'm sure, I don't work in Barcelona, but I'm sure every person who did that class in Madrid was like, this is great. They're just talking. And there was great language in there for them to learn. You know, so for me, it's I don't want to see more topic activities like this, because that's the real vocabulary.
Right, and that was a blog which was beautifully written, because I thought that activity a number of times. And there were a lot of content that was useful to teach, phrases like tickle my fancy.
Yep.
I love that. I had to teach
I bet you.
I had to teach her about tickling in my fancy. So I really had fun with that. But that was it's a blog, so it's more fun because it's more engaging. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about engaging content.
Yeah.
And I think the personal blogs, one of the things that, like, sometimes when you write with flow, then you look back at how you've written and you realize that you actually write quite complex. You know, you look at something you've done and you've went, oh, and it's not until maybe I think Radmila looked at something I'd written and went, oh, you've put wannabe in there. And that's not obvious what a wannabe is, or AKA. And it's this content that really has the vocabulary, really has the day-to-day stuff that students really learn from. And that's what I
natural way.
Yeah. And I think that's where the vocabulary is. And I think at the higher levels, you know, I personally in the material would like to see more topics, because when we're at that sort of C1, P5 level, they are looking for fluidity in natural environments, and the topics are phenomenal. So I'd like to see more variety of different types of topics.
Yeah. And vocabulary, I would like vocabulary to be topic, right?
Yeah.
Like topic and clothes. So we learn vocabulary in clothes, for example, right? But it's kind of, you know, smoothly linked, not just names, and you try to make examples of whatever you wear right now, right? So
that's the way the vocabulary activity usually start. Now you get a list of words, and then you have to memorize it, and then you have to repeat and make an example.
But this is a book.
Yes, I don't usually like that either. But a lot of them do come with a story. So they
Those
do have,
like
you get the target language, and you get a story associated with that vocabulary, and then so it happens. It happens.
Yeah, I mean these ones I really love them, because I can later on link them to the topic activity, and link them to the grammar activity, and to everything. So I don't have, like, you know, the cold vocabulary, you know, just a list of words. But
you're right.
Still, there are activities with the list of words.
Yeah, there are activities that only have a list of words and then make examples. But we typically you can rate the activity. 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, and if I believe it's a 2 stars, it has to be somebody has to improve it. No, and that's our feedback.
Yeah.
To the system.
No,
Yeah.
this is the benefit of the system, because you can rate activity and then it goes to those who will correct it, right? If you rate it-
Perhaps what we can do, Radmila, is when we rate the activity, is put a comment as to why we're rating it a 2 star to be redone. No, perhaps say this activity needs current content, perhaps it's a new story, or if in cases vocabulary with no story, add a story to
it needs some more context, right, to be used in.
Right.
Or things like the activities missing attachment, or the things like that. I know that we can recycle that, but I don't want to recycle that because it could be good, right? But only one attachment sometimes for me it's like it hurts, right? I need to look for something else or Google it, so then because I think that there are more stages, right? You learn it also. For me, I think the activity, we know the criterias, right? But it should be, we should have a reminder, right? If we create an activity, there should be like, the box, right? Saying that does it have 3 parts? Does it have, target language relevant to that? Does it have a target language on every word which is in capital? Because sometimes it doesn't. So I think this kind of things, it would be like just a reminder to how serious our role is when we create an activity, right?
Yeah, and I
think it's great. Yeah.
I think an open conversation, because it's, as a collaborative teachers, we kind of, obviously, Radmila and Jonathan are involved too, but we kind of make a decision on how we want things to work, how we want activities to be made. And I think maybe even a little bit of responsibility to be taken by everyone is to do you want to write content? Should you have the right to make content? If you're, if there's standards, if you're not willing to take the time to do it, perhaps opt out. We have a lot of great content writers, and we have a lot of people who don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Perhaps they're better teachers, and there's great teachers who don't like making content. So maybe these are things we have to look down at and say, okay, do you want to do it? Because,
asking openly.
Yeah. And what do you want the standards to be? And and if you're not prepared to do that, then why? And talk about it as a team. Because that one of the things we found talking today was it was really open. Everyone had ideas. There's different ways in which you can teach things. Phrasal verbs for me is huge. I don't think we have enough
activities
and on that and phrasal activity, and also how we teach them.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 ways you can teach phrasal verbs. You can teach them from the verb, or you can teach them from the context. I prefer to teach them from the context. I want to teach leave me alone, get out, go away, and the F-bomb. I want to put it on register of how much I want to express myself.
Yeah, and kind of an example, I know, picture, because last time I had the activity on grammar, and vocabulary, phrasal words, right? And there were just like list of 10 phrasal words, and just nothing else, so I had to kind of invent it to the student to link them together to make fun of it, because if no, the student was so bored.
Well, this is when your acting skills come
in. Of course.
But this is where we want the material to pre-support us though, right?
Well, since the time our general appraisal is fine, right? So it means that we're good actors, but I think that some more facilities would really make better our general appraisal.
Well, this is what I'm talking about content when it comes to videos, because we can there are a lot of content with phrasal verbs that it can be it's a feeling, it's an action, and that can be applied.
Yeah, and I think with things like videos, I really like what you're saying. If I was at a grammar point to teach that week, and maybe the creator had, because when you look at Instagram, for example, and people put out verbs, the first thing all the students ask who are following them is, can you give me an audio of that? Now, we have our target language section that does that. But you could also do a quick little video. As a teacher, it's dead easy. You can embed a YouTube video in very quickly. So if it's phrasal verbs, you could have an audio of them being said. But target language can be a full audio of it being said.
I think it's not just the audio that's important, is the action or the reaction to the phrasal verbs.
Oh, I get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but then you can link it with GIFs. This is the bit about when, we're all fantastic teachers. If you get given a phrasal verb, you're going to act it out, you're going to work with it.
Yeah, of course.
I want my student, okay, they might not choose to, but I want them, before they meet me, to see a GIF of the action in the material, an audio of what it sounds like, maybe some context is how it's used. So when they come to me, I'm not studying with them.
Right.
I'm rehearsing it with them. I'm helping them to take it to that next stage, because that's what I want my teaching to be. Not always, hi, you've never seen this before, let's do it.
But this is the way a lot of people they do it. I mean, I can motivate the student to learn, but I can't make the student to spend an hour before the class to look at the material, because they are so busy and lazy, and
But I don't want the
It's
material.
another thing,
I don't want the
I think,
material to only represent those people. That's what I mean. Is if I have a proactive student who's studying beforehand, I want, as part of Auxini, I want my product to be accessible for them. If they choose not to use it, fine.
Right.
But I have some students who are really proactive, and they're like, I want to study beforehand, and they want stuff to look at.
Yeah.
And I think that our product should have that, because I think that's what sets us apart from everyone else. We're great teachers. Do you know what I mean?
And I
But
think,
the material's got to be awesome too.
Yes, I mean it's great. The only thing we're talking now about, like, we always always looking for perfection. So we are looking for perfection right now. We'll never
Nothing
reach
wrong
it.
with it.
So, but I mean now it's great as it is, right? The only thing that it could be better. Of course, everybody could be better. So I think that we have to work a lot on what we are doing, improve our teaching skills, improve our materials, and improve the experience of the student with that. So
Yeah, overall, after the questionnaire, I have the feeling that people would appreciate more guides and more channels, like channels to communicate between, well, that was mentioned, between teachers and students, between peers. So, but I think that all these great ideas, well, they're the future. They are definitely going to be present in the 2019-2020 courses, for sure. All these ideas, so fantastic.
I think Anna, we were talking about this yesterday, Radmila, but one of the things Anna was talking about was kids material.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things you really want to look at is a games-based syllabus. So grammar being taught, but purely through games.
But games.
For adults and kids. But just so maybe when you've got it and you can attach it both, it would work across both.
Online games. I mean, you can use just a link from any other website, but it's not maybe the proper way. But the proper way is to teach the kid, right? So the kid is happy, so I'm happy. We don't care whether it's linked correctly into the system or not, right?
Carl's like, no
kids.
Since you have one kid, you need to do something with him or her, right? So you cannot say no. So I think online games.
Give it back to the parent. Here you go.
Something interactive, because I mean the songs, I've got material with 20 attachments, and it's like they were all songs. It's fine, but maybe it should be in a different way. So I still need, because I teach kids, I still need to look for content somewhere else. So I think it would be great just to try to maybe reflect on it, right? So maybe we should take the different approach to create kids activities. We should forget about what the original activity is, right? And think about what's different, right?
And I think the majority of the time when you teach kids, although I've taught kids online, it's normally face-to-face. It's difficult teaching kids online, but it's normally face-to-face. And perhaps we need to look at that is go, what product? Because sometimes a kid doesn't want to sit in front of a laptop. They get bored.
They don't want to sit.
But maybe if it's a game, if it's like a computer game.
They don't
Well,
want to
it's a
sit.
computer game, but they do like computers. Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that, like, I don't teach kids that often. I teach teenagers, but I was teaching a kid who was 10, and I was always sitting there going, I wish there was something just a bit more, for them, and I think that's probably one of the most advancements we can make in the product will be kids materials. I think everyone agrees with that.
But we need to think really a lot about that, and we should choose a group of people to do that, so not
specialists.
just everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're coming to the end.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, someone is going to be late for a class, I think.
We can talk forever.
Three of us.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, guys. Radmila, we naturally did it.
A real pleasure. Yeah, that was great. I will write all these notes in a proper blog post, and that way, because there have been a lot of ideas, so we don't want to miss any.
Okay.
Great.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot.
you.
Thanks,
guys.
Radmila. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Everyone say thanks
Thank
to each
you.
other. See you all next week, guys.
See you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.